Before I properly start this video, I'd like to apologize for the delay of this episode. The audio didn't record, so instead you'll have me voicing over a poorly edited version of what actually happened. So I hope that's tolerable enough. Then we should get into it. Now, obviously, this picks up right where the previous episode left off with Deerclops attacking. Thankfully, though, it seemed very preoccupied with all the vault goats around. So I had the time to head home and prepare a few things before I tried to take it out. I regret using the reeds on that, but I didn't really have much at hand. Obviously, I went back to the farm to try and prepare a bit more food, since I actually remembered it existed. It's quite pitiful, but it's getting there. Beginning of the first night. I do want to apologize if the editing of this episode isn't as good. I didn't really know what I was doing. I usually edit around my voice, so not having my voice led to editing being a lot harder. Another benefit of the vault goats distracting Deerclops is that a lot of meat was left over. Obviously, Abigail didn't stand much of a chance against Deerclops. All the vault goats are dead, so I finally managed to get its attention. It took a lot of attempts to get anything to work with taking on Deerclops. I forgot to make a torch, and then I just don't do very well in the cold. I wish that holding a torch warmed you up, and as you saw just there, I apparently got too far away from Deerclops and it lost aggro, which was really annoying. So obviously I had to chase it down and get it back. Now this was a bad idea because if you look at the timer, it's really close to nighttime. So I was being an idiot, like normal. But this time I actually knew to keep Deerclops' aggro on me, so I made sure I didn't get too far away from it, which didn't work out the best, as you can see right there. I got far away again, and it lost aggro again, so I had to chase it down again. And now it's even closer to nighttime, so you know this is clearly going so well for me. Definitely didn't muck up everything. So it's about to hit nighttime. Deerclops is still thankfully chasing me. And I'm not close to like any trees. Well, I'm close to some trees, but still a bit far away. And there you can see a few stuff. And night hits with all the spiders out. That poor spider did not stand a chance. And as you saw, I just started a forest fire by lighting a tree on fire in the middle of a forest. I'm currently trying to lure the Deerclops down to the big group of tall birds that I found at the bottom. Like right there on the map that you can see right here with all the tall birds. Unfortunately, Deerclops killed me. Kinda cool seeing the Deerclops' silhouette as it beats up a few tall birds with the backdrop of the fun fire thing, and yeah, it leaves. It didn't even kill all the tall birds. There's the forest fire I lit. I tried, I swear. Now time for the attempt. Thankfully, I've actually gotten, in my opinion, a bit better at getting back in the middle of winter. Obviously, it was not a one-and-done thing. That would have been impressive on my part, but yeah. I swear, I need to, make some chests near the, spawn so that the next time I die, I can just immediately get stuff, especially if I die, during summer or stuff. Because, as you should know by the title of this video, this marks the end of winter, thankfully. So I get to move on. Now, my plan here, I believe, it's not as obvious yet with what I'm doing, but my health got low due to the cold and accidentally lighting myself on fire, so I decided that a better choice, instead of just trying to live and make it, I instead collected enough materials to make a few torches plus a torch, and then I let myself die next to spawn so I could immediately respawn and have materials needed to make a break for my home, which in the end turned out to be a good decision because I managed to make it home without many difficulties after that. But obviously I still have the issue of all my stuff being next to a Tallbird army, which was not ideal. And there's my second death of the episode. I died a few times this episode as well, but I think that's just par for the course of winter, so... It is kind of funny seeing the messages of, like, I died and then immediately revived, which is kind of funny. So this is just the mad dash to make it home. Obviously, I need to get through the bee bottleneck, which is a really annoying thing to exist, but it's better than nothing. So obviously, just got to make a break for it. I have the torch materials. Honestly, I could have made it through with just one torch, because all I really needed to light was one thing here and then one thing after the bees. And you can see that there's still the remnants of the hounds that were killed last time I tried to make the run here. There's my dead body. My other attempts of getting home. I haven't really ran through here since my attempts at getting home. I also remember that throughout this recording I was trying to make booster shots, and I come back here later when all of that monster meat on the floor has turned to like the slop stuff, which is what I use to make a booster shot. There are so many bees. I find it funny how many bees end up chasing me, yet bees are so slow that they almost can never hit me, so they're really not much of a threat unless I stand still. Which does make dying to bees at any point quite embarrassing, if I do. But yeah, I have got the dilemma of, like, next to no trees on the final stretch back home. Which isn't the nicest, but at least I made it home with 16 health. And of course I have the panic attack of the screen shaking near my base, which implies that Deerclops is nearby. I have a worse freak out, like, pretty sure it's soon. Did I keep it in? Oh, right, 2 hands. Those were the worst. There, right there. Deerclops' silhouette showing up right by my base. As you can see, I tried to run away because I didn't want to risk Deerclops aggroing on me and, well, destroying my base. Oh, you can see the debris of the forest fire I set earlier as I'm returning back to reclaim my stuff. But obviously there's still some Tallbirds alive, so I need to... There's at least one Tallbird still alive, so I try to get my stuff back while not dying from one hit thanks to that Tallbird. Because as you can see, my health is abysmally low while I'm setting on the forest fire. I set a lot of forests on fire in this episode, if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, which involves a forest on fire, which I thought was quite fitting. I didn't manage to get back my armor, as I see now, but I got most of the important stuff. As you can see, I think that the snow is starting to clear up a bit. You can especially see in the following few clips as the snow is literally dissipating, meaning that I am very close to the end of winter. The funniest thing, though, is that this happened and I did not notice that the snow was gone for a long time. It just did not occur to me that the perpetually white ground wasn't white anymore. And I find that really funny because it just shows how terribly unobservant I am. I made a garland because my sanity was getting low thanks to being around Deerclops, and I made the very dumb decision of attempting to fight the walrus. Yeah, it didn't end very well. Obviously I tried to rile up Abigail. I think she does manage to take out the hounds, but the walruses get to her and she dies pretty quickly. Because, walruses are strong. Wait, they're not actually called walruses in this game, are they? I don't remember what they're called in this game, but they look like walruses, so I call them walruses. Just notice how the colors got a lot dimmer the minute Abigail died. Yeah, attempt to fight it. Realize my mistake very quickly as they deal a lot of damage and they have impeccable aim. So obviously, I die for the third time this episode. And I wonder if I should have waited till morning there. But it doesn't matter too much. Now, I procrastinated a lot during this tent back because this right here is where I noticed that there wasn't snow on the ground anymore. So I started to question whether I still felt the cold. This led to quite a bit of procrastination, as I was, trying to figure it out. So I was trying to just see how far I could make it before I got cold, just to test if there was still cold. Pretty sure there is still cold. I made it to the same spot I can normally make it before the cold starts to set in. And then obviously the panic of, I don't have anything to make a torch. So, struggling to get the materials. I couldn't grab the twigs earlier because of the bees there. You can see me frantically checking my health as it's rapidly going down and I'm trying to make a torch quickly before I die. Which honestly, it probably would have been better off just dying because now I have to hang around with 5 health and an attempt to get home. This means that practically anything will kill me. Which isn't the nicest. And does come back to bite me later, as I can assure you that my death earlier was not, in fact, the last death. And I have no idea why I made a second torch just there. Perfect timing there, where I decide to light another tree on fire right as the previous one goes out. Then I make the dumb decision of trying to run for it in the middle of the night, without anything to warm me up and not being able to see my surroundings. I don't make very smart decisions, if you couldn't tell by my previous episodes of this series. And of course, I very quickly start to freeze, so I try to light something on fire, but that causes me to still, so the bees kill me. Remember how I said earlier it'd be embarrassing to die to bees? Yeah, I died to bees. So we return, and at this point, I believe we have hit the day that winter is officially over. I no longer get cold. It is the beginning of spring, and I only died like 12 times throughout winter? Can someone give me a recap on how many times I've died so far? That'd be fun. But yeah, I don't know what major threat, I know one threat in spring, but I don't know the other ones. Is it the same as autumn where there aren't many threats and it's just the prelude for summer? Or doesn't spring have its own threats? I know that it rains in spring, and I know one other thing that'll become quite apparent in a minute, as I try to make my way home. But yes, as you can tell by the fact that I haven't started freezing yet as I've been collecting things, the cold is officially no longer an issue, which is very nice. I still made a torch just in case because I wasn't sure if the cold was fully done or not. But obviously I begin my trek home, which honestly, me being dead and out here definitely gave me at least a bit of a benefit, though it did cause quite the inconvenience for my connection to the outside world. As you'll see in a few seconds, I now have a roadblock right there. There is a moose goose right by my connection from half the world. I can no longer get there because there is a giant boss sitting right at that bottleneck. And it is so annoying. Thankfully, it did crush a beehive, so I got some honeycomb and some honey, which can make some good things. But thankfully, the bees distracted it enough that I could run away and get back home. Obviously, I'm picking up my belongings here from the last time I died. But that's pretty much all I got up to this episode. Don't know what to do now if you have any advice. But yeah, I started reading. And if you guys have any advice for future episodes, specifically both in spring and going into summer, that would be greatly appreciated. And I would like to once again apologize for the postponing of this episode. I'm not used to the settings with my new microphone, and that led to it not being connected while recording. And I didn't realize that there was no audio of me speaking until it was over. But regardless, I thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all next episode. Goodbye!